wealth. What is wealth? Wealth is the ratio between your expenses and income. It is not a number. When I heard this from Alex Hormozi, like, I don't know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was like, a little light bulb went off. Like, wait, it's not a number. It doesn't matter if it's $1 million or $500,000 or 100,000 or 2 million or 10 million. It's actually not a number. It's a ratio. Because if someone's making $1 million a year, but they're spending $1 million a year, that person isn't wealthy. They're living a rich, high status lifestyle, but they're not wealthy because they have no profit and their expenses are extremely high. So that means they have to keep up their standard of work and output to match. They have to keep the input of work to match the output of expenses. The input of income has to match the output. So they're going to be on the treadmill for forever until they decide to change that situation. So if you're making 100,000, but you're spending 10 grand, you're profiting 90 grand a year, you are wealthy. If you're making 50 grand, but you're spending 5 grand a year, 10-to-1 ratio, you are wealthy. And that's a big ratio. It's going to be unreasonable for all of you. If you're making 5 grand and you're putting away, if I was making more money, maybe this camera wouldn't have done that. Dropping bombs. Knowledge bombs. Okay, we're back. 5-to-1 ratio would be $5,000 and you're putting away 2.5 grand. 5-to-1, that's really good. That's really good. But if you go to a different country, Southeast Asia, I don't know if you guys realize this, but you can just move to another country and live a rich life. A single person can live in Bali, moderate lifestyle, for 700 to 1400 USD, call it 2 grand AUD a month. I know pretty much every single person watching this makes 2 grand AUD or 1400 USD a month. Unless you have a family. I'm not doing that. I know my boy Jordan Potts moved his whole family to Bali for about 6 months. So you could conceivably do it. You know, you can just move to Bali and have like an amazing time there with the people, the culture, the food, the weather, have a nice villa, live near 5 minutes from the beach, run your business from there. Plenty of expats there, so there's people to network with. You know, you could do that. And your wealth ratio changes depending on where you go. My wealth ratio cut nearly in half coming to America, coming to New York specifically. I pretty much cut my wealth in half because the AUD to USD dollar is nearly cut in half. The expenses are high. The rent is higher. So when I go to Australia, I'm on paper almost double as wealthy. When I come here, I'm almost half as wealthy. If I go to Bali, I'm like 10 times as wealthy. If I go to Egypt, I'm like 20 times as wealthy. You see how the wealth discrepancy changes depending on where you are? So if you don't like where you are and you think it's like Sydney's, man, I feel, I just like, why are you, almost like, I think about my Sydney mentees, I'm like, why are you living in Sydney if you don't have to? Sydney is the most expensive city in Australia if you don't have to. Now, I know family and friends and, networks and things like that. But like that's a big motivation. Like Sydney's very expensive, New York's very expensive, Singapore's very expensive. So the point is your wealth changes depending on where you are. I would seriously consider you could build a lot of money and capital and wealth by moving to another country, running your business or working there for a period of time, stacking a bunch of capital and money, and then bringing it to your home country 2 years later, investing that into high leverage opportunities, which we'll talk about later in future videos, and then be much further ahead and move faster. Living below your means. And this extends from living in a different country. This is not what I'm doing right now, by the way, People who live far below their means enjoy a freedom that people busy upgrading their lifestyles can't fathom. If you constantly make more money, increase lifestyle. Okay, so I make more money. Oh, I'm gonna get some nicer clothes now. I'm gonna make more money. I'm gonna keep that standard of nice clothes up. I'm gonna get the watch and the car. And I did this not with watches and clothes. I don't really care about that anymore. I did this with a car to touch my future lifestyle. I love cars, and I had a great time driving these multi-six-figure cars, a Mercedes and a BMW. And I realized that I learned a lot of things. I touched my future in a way of like what I wanted to create, but I did not want to maintain that because I realized I could spend this money in a much more intelligent way into investments that would make the ability for me to drive these cars easy. So then I stopped that, I reinvested, and I learned a good lesson, many lessons actually, and I stopped myself from upgrading my lifestyle unnecessarily. Some of you may perceive this as an unnecessary lifestyle upgrade. You are completely wrong. This is a dream I've had for nearly 10 years. There is nothing anybody would have done to stop me from doing this. God himself would have to come down and smite me, right? There was nothing that anybody could do to stop me from living in my favorite city in the world. Maktub, as we say in Arabic, which means it was written. So this is beyond money. This is mission. What is not mission is if I decide to eat at expensive, nice restaurants every week or every third day, or buy a bunch of nice clothes, or furnish this apartment with 20 grand worth of furniture. You don't know this. This standing desk I'm on is $150 from Amazon. I want to buy the standing desk that's $2 grand, $1,500, super customized, beautiful woods. It's fine. It's fine because I'm allocating my money towards this amazing view and this amazing building and access to this amazing city over the nice little niceties, because I know the niceties are coming. I know everything I want is coming, but I'm not going to upgrade my lifestyle in all facets. Otherwise, I will fuck myself. And you will too. You have to be disciplined. You have to know where to cut costs and delay instant gratification, and you have to know where you want to invest your money. Guilt-free. Guilt-free. This is guilt-free. People, if I told you how much rent, you'd trip out. Like, what the fuck? You spend that much? You crazy? Am I crazy? Maybe. Or maybe I'm just not like you. As Goggins once said. So, you'll be on the treadmill forever unless you want to be on the treadmill forever and make 100,000 and expense 100,000. If you love what you're doing, it's like, nah, I'm cool with that. My lifestyle's amazing at 100,000 and I love making 100,000 and everything is great and I want to keep that up. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's cool. But it's a risky, little bit dangerous way to live. The real cost of shit that you can't afford or shouldn't be affording right now is that you're paying for the car or the nice thing, but you're sacrificing your dreams, right? Which is, you need to understand, before I came to America, I was living below my means in many areas, okay? And I did that for a long time. And I acquired and built up a lot of capital. So understand that before we got here, there was a lot of delaying instant gratification. And that is where we will end it. Next time, we will talk about and expand the conversation around money and your biggest problems around money and how to break those limiting beliefs. And then we're going to talk about major money principles, how to design your rich life, and what that looks like. Stay tuned. Give me some feedback on this. I would love that. And let me know questions, comments on what you want to see next and what questions you have around money and challenges you have around money that you want me to cover for you. Speak soon.